What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters. I'm David Wilson, and today we're back with another Friday live stream, as we always do on Friday mornings. And today we're going to do another instance of the Emacs Package Potluck that we did about a month ago. People seem to like that then. It gives us an opportunity to check out a bunch of different packages, and I think it's a fun time to have as a community. So we're going to do that once again today, and maybe finish up some of the packages that we had on the list last time that we didn't get to. So we'll try some packages that we had on the list, and also maybe some new suggestions that people have as we go along. So yeah, happy to see people joining this this morning. Mini KN, John, Wind Up Boy, Nova Leary, Brad, Ankit, Arif Sheikh. Nice to see you all today. Let me just get something checked out here. Hi, Daigo, Mark. All right, everybody hear me okay today? No issues with the audio or video stuttering or anything like that? So, let's start with a little bit of news this morning. Hey, Benoit, Thomas, Seabass. So, one interesting piece of trivia is that tomorrow actually marks the 1 year mark since the first Emacs from Scratch stream. So it was the September 11th. I know that's a weird date, but it actually was the first time I did the first Emacs from Scratch stream on this channel. It was actually before I called the channel. It was before I called the channel System Crafters, so I didn't have that name yet. I was still using my old channel name, the Dev Aspect, for the channel that I was running many years ago when I was making F# videos. But it was cool to, start making streams about Emacs. I just sort of did it because I wanted to make a video about Emacs, and it sort of took off from there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Since then, I've done over 100 videos and streams on Emacs and Geeks and everything else. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I should be proud or a little bit concerned about the fact that I've made 100 videos since then, but it's great. I mean, I'm glad with how the community has grown and how the channel has grown and everything. So it's been a really great ride from that perspective. Oh, actually, I had a picture here that I wanted to show. Let's see, org display or toggle inline images. Yeah. So basically, it was September 11th, 2020, and that video's had about, I don't know, 65,000 views since then, which is pretty cool. Is there anyone here today who was actually at that first stream? The answer is probably no, but I'm actually, I'm curious if anybody was here then. I was here. I know that was the case. So let's see, what else? So on Sunday, this is going to be a little bit of a out of normal schedule stream, but I'm gonna have a stream on Sunday where I'm actually gonna do a collaboration with a friend and former coworker of mine, Jonathan, who has a YouTube channel called Systems with JT, and he is focused on like Rust programming and also looking at various different operating systems and whatnot. So check out his channel if you're interested in that. I'm smiling because of what Garjola said. And what we're going to do on Sunday is we're actually going to do a sort of crossover stream for Emacs and New Shell. New Shell is a Rust-based shell, like a command shell, that Jonathan works on. He's one of the maintainers of that project. And we're going to see if we can hook up Emacs to New Shell and provide some more advanced integration than what you would get from, like, using Bash or Z Shell or something with Emacs. So we're going to try that out and see what happens. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. UTC on Sunday, provided that I don't have any delays due to family obligations and whatnot. But yeah, Sunday is when that's going to happen. I'm going to schedule the stream probably tomorrow, just so that you see it in advance, and I'll let people know on the normal channels like Twitter and Discord and whatnot. So keep an eye out for that. And also, I do want to remind everyone about the EmacsConf 2021 CFP submission deadline. That's September 30th, which is about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks from now. So if you have any interest in doing a presentation at EmacsConf, definitely go ahead and get your proposals in, because they're eventually going to send out the emails about who's been approved, etc. So that definitely stay on top of that if you are interested in presenting there. So I didn't answer some of these questions here. Let me roll back a little bit. Let's see who else is joined here. John and Andreas, Ahmed, Rajath, Cyclic Buffer, Aben, Brad, Palando, Marcinero. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I think I said hello to Nova. Garjola and Case showed up. Crazy Chicken, Gan, Firelights, Mayush. A lot of familiar faces here today. Ankit. All right, so let's see. What were the questions here? Crazy Chicken says, still using Geeks. Yeah, I'm in Geeks right now. There's no way that I'm going to change from using Geeks to something else. I mean, Geeks is sort of a permanent part of my configuration at this point, mainly because anything that I really need to do with it, I can do. So, I mean, it's not something that you can easily do out of the box, but I can write the code to do it if I have to. So that's the reason why I stick with Geeks. Let's see. Wind Up Boy says, I watched it the week it was YouTube. That's great. Awesome. Didn't start joining the live stream until recently. Well, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have seen that video over time, but if you saw it on the week it was released or in that time period, then definitely you qualify as having been there whenever it was happening. Nova Leary says, I got org wild notifier working. What I had to do was declare the alert style. That's interesting. So if any of you have watched the Emacs tips video I did last year where I was trying the different notification systems for org agendas and whatnot, I didn't get any of them to work correctly. So yeah, Nova is basically saying that they got it to work, which is great. Let's see. Ankit says that new shell is the one with objects instead of pipes, right? Yeah, it's another one of the object-based shells. Mini Kayan says, how do you like it? Oh, okay, so maybe you're responding to Nova. I'm not sure exactly who you're responding to at that moment. Okay, there was something else. Okay, the GK keyboard. Gotcha. New shell seems really cool. Yeah, it does, for sure. Luca says, this intro to Emacs still up to date? You mean Emacs from scratch? I would say not really. In fact, as time goes on, I'm more and more concerned about the fact that people are still watching and using it. Not because anything is incorrect per se, but just because I would do it totally different now, and I do plan to do that totally different now. But we'll talk about that later. Let's see. Garjola says, Geeks plus Emacs versus Nix plus NeoVim versus Windows Windows and VS Code. Okay, that sounds like a difficult video to make. But for me, obviously, that's Geeks plus Emacs. Let's see. Ankit says, are you planning to do streams on Tramp? Well, I will definitely do a video on Tramp at some point, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. John says, any chance you could do a Guile debug GX show? Well, yeah. I want to do some videos on Guile in general, and then at some point we would get into the sort of the internal details about Geeks and how that stuff works. Wind Up Boy, tell me how the relay of the chat looks. I don't know exactly how it's looking on Twitch right now, if it's annoying or if it actually makes sense. Okay, I think that's it for the news segment of everything. So another thing I want to talk about today was just, before we get into the main topic, I wanted to do a little bit of brainstorming with you all. So there's a few ideas that I have that I'm thinking about implementing, and I wanted to get your feedback on them. Don't worry about it, MiniCan, that's cool. So one thing I was thinking about is possibly moving these Friday streams 1 hour earlier to 8 a.m. my time and 3 p.m. UTC. And the reason why is because I started doing the Wednesday streams for hacking on projects and whatnot. That one also is at 8 a.m. and I think it makes more sense if both of them start at the same time each day per week. It also helps me to free up more time for my work day and everything. So it would be helpful to me, but I also wonder if it would be ideal to other people who watch the stream and come here regularly, because for some of you, I know it's nighttime, so it might be better if the stream started 1 hour earlier. Yeah, F23A None says moving earlier would be better for us EU viewers. That's what I'm hoping for. For the people in Europe and Asia, it might be better. I don't know about people in the US, if it would be better. I'm guessing it would be better for pretty much everybody except for those in Pacific time zone, because it's 8 a.m. But it's fine for me. But I'm the one that has to sit here and do it. So So any feedback people have on that, please let me know. Garzola says 8 a.m. is difficult for you. Well, 8 a.m. your time or my time? So, yeah, so if you are watching the recording, also feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think about that as well. I'm thinking about trying this next week and see what people think, if it works out. Mark says, I prefer the current time. I'm in the UK and it starts at 17 just after I finish work. Let's see. And Mac Owners Club says, may I suggest a comparison between helper for dev docs and dash docs in Emacs that would help out the dev beginners? That's not a bad idea, actually. I should probably write that down. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I'll come back to the stream and check that really quick. Edda says it's 1 p.m. Where he's at, and it'd be 1 hour early would be fine. Polano says, I prefer the current time from Prague. Yeah, that's good to know. There's sort of a mixture of opinions on that, so we'll see how we do with that, if we change it or not. But it's something I'm thinking about, but it's not necessarily a thing that I have to do. So another thing. So on Wednesdays, I've been doing these hack session streams, which I've really been enjoying. And if you haven't checked them out yet, you should check out the recordings. The problem with that is that what I noticed this week is that when I make that stream, YouTube sort of cannibalizes the recommendations that are given to the video that I post on Monday or Tuesday, and it kills the views on the video from Monday or Tuesday, which is a little bit disappointing because a video like the one that I posted this week is pretty useful, and I think it's not so nice if YouTube starts recommending the other video instead. So one idea that that Benoit mentioned is the possibility of having a second channel for things like those kinds of streams that I want to do at a different day per week, and that way it doesn't sort of confuse the recommendation algorithm. The only problem with that is that it's another channel that you have to subscribe to and follow, and you might miss the videos or the streams when they go live. So I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I'm definitely open to any feedback on that. Obviously, I could just not worry about it, but if you put a lot of effort into a video and not that many people watch it, it is a little bit discouraging. So I'm trying to avoid having things that mess with the views on the video that I post earlier in the week, because that's really the main thing that I want people to see is like if I prepare a video, record a video, and post it, it's usually on a topic that I think people would find useful. So I would prefer that people watch that, but I also want people to see the streams as well. Raja says maybe send out a poll. That's probably a good idea. I can try that too. Garjola says, I wouldn't create a second channel, just a playlist for hacking sessions. Yeah, if I could do it so that it wouldn't recommend those videos, that would be nice. However, I think it still will try to recommend them. And also, if it doesn't recommend them at all, probably nobody will see it except for the people who showed up at the stream. So I'm trying to find the right balance. I want to make sure that people actually, see the things that I'm posting. Garjola says, can't you do anything to choose what gets promoted the most? Not really. Wind Up Boy says, I'd like to see a video or series of videos describing a sane method for writing Emacs themes. Well, I did a video on that last year, how to create your own Emacs theme or something like that. And you might want to check that out. I show how to use a package. Man, I can't remember. I think it's Auto Themer was the name of the package. So if you check that out, that actually makes it a little bit more easy to write a theme. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, it's like I said, I've made 100 videos. It's very unlikely that a person has seen or knows about all of them. So that's one problem I need to actually solve. I need to make it like a page on my website that shows like all the topics I've covered so that it's easier to find whether I've covered something in particular. So I'm gonna work on that at some point soon. Let's see, Marcinero says, it's a good idea because hack generally doesn't have that many views as far as I know. YouTube make things harder to find for channels with too many lives and with few views. Yeah, that's another problem, is that sometimes the how well a video does in a particular week might actually affect how future videos get recommended. Like after the Org Roam videos, everything I was posting after that did really well in recommendations. But after I did not post a video last week and I only did live streams, things have kind of gone downhill a little bit. So Yeah, the algorithm is really finicky apparently, and it's affected by a lot of things, and I'm trying to dial in the right inputs to it to make sure that I get enough people able to see the video recommended. Like the home screen on YouTube is like the primary point where people see my videos most of the time. A lot of people don't see it from the subscriptions list or from notifications. It's like the home screen. So making sure that the videos show up on the home screen is the most important thing. Garjola, okay, so people are already answering the next question. Which video series should I do next? Should I finish an older one or should I do something new? So let me respond to some of these things. Noble and Savage says, I turn up to hear you say gone downhill. Well, only in the last week. I mean, the amount of views on the video I posted on Tuesday was a lot less than I expected, and I think it has to do with the YouTube algorithm and not so much the topic. The topic may have had something to do with it also, but I think it's the algorithm is not working in my favor this week. Let's see. Garjola says next vid series should be something you really feel like doing because it's lots of work and this is not yet your job, but I won't refrain from suggesting such things. Well, that's your job, right? You're the chief harassment officer. So, yeah, there's things I have been thinking about doing, and we'll talk about that in a second. Edis says, I use Sorcerer as a base and then change some colors. My init file is a mess, but it works. Yeah, you can definitely do that too for themes. If you have a theme that you like, you can just tweak the colors yourself and do something with that. Or you can even fork the theme and change it and then make your own version of it, basically. Maximilian says, could you do one org mode stream about writing read the docs like websites and technical papers using org mode? Technical papers I need to do something for at some point. Like LaTeX is its whole own topic. I'm not an expert in that area, but I have done a little bit of work with it. Yeah, writing an exporter for websites using org mode, that's sort of on the short list for me because, you know, my websites that you see like systemcrafters.net and the wiki site, they're all generated using org publish. And I want to do a video or a couple videos on that because I feel like it's very possible to do a website completely with org mode. And I think, it's not easy to do at first because the way that org exports HTML is kind of ugly and a little outdated. So there's ways to make it do what you want it to do, but it takes a little bit of effort. F23A None says, I would love to see series on Qt browser and maybe some how to build Emacs package from scratch. Yeah, I started doing that with the Learning Emacs Lisp series. So that one is basically how to build an Emacs package from scratch while learning Emacs Lisp at the same time. So check that one out. But Qt browser, I probably should do some videos on that, but I also needed to look into Nixt as well. So that's a thing that needs to happen. Some browser needs to be covered at some point because it's a very important part of system crafting. Edda says, maybe alternate between short videos and more common packages and live streams that go deep into a subject. Yeah, maybe so. I'm trying to make all of my videos, the recorded videos, shorter now because looking at the analytics on many of my longer videos, the actual amount of people watching after the first 5 minutes goes down to like maybe 20%, and that's not really good, I'd say. I mean, I still don't have a good explanation for that, but since I've been making videos shorter and a little bit more tighter in terms of like the flow and the content and whatnot, the amount of people watching toward the end is a lot higher than it was before, like maybe doubled, so that's pretty good. Glenn says, day and night world apps suggest -4, -5 hours from this time. Maybe not good for you. Can't please everyone. Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Can't please everyone. But at the same time, I don't want to change the current time for streams if it works well for people. Like, for instance, the group of people that show up at the streams on Fridays are a great group of people, and I don't want to exclude those people or some of those people if the time change makes it harder for them. So Case says, I really like the idea for an Emacs really from scratch. Yeah, that's sort of the goal, is that whenever I redo Emacs from scratch, it's going to be like, we're going to go from in the box, and we're not going to pull external packages probably at all. I think we're going to stay with what's in the box, and we're going to learn how to write Emacs Lisp while writing a configuration. So that's something that's also on my short list of videos to do, because I think it's going to be really interesting. Let's see. Noble and Savage says, I'd like to know how LSP works with consult verticode. Do we need to do anything other than your EFS stuff? Yeah, so probably it would be good to talk about LSP and talk about LSP more in general. Like I'm overdue for doing more LSP mode videos for different languages, but maybe some other config related videos, so that would be useful. Garjola says, series, Geeks, eLisp, EFS without use package. Yep. Yeah, the problem with doing videos about Geeks, even though like I think it's really useful to people to make videos about Geeks to kind of illuminate some things, those also don't really get as much attention as other videos, and sometimes you have to prioritize the things that are going to get more people to see them because it brings more people to the channel. So mixing in a video about Geeks here and there is definitely in the plan, but I don't know how much I'll prioritize it in the future. That's not to say I'm never going to make a Geeks video. Obviously, I'm going to make Geeks videos, so don't worry about that. But as you can see, I've done a lot of videos about Org Roam lately because people are interested. What did I saw something. Okay. Wind Up Boy says, themes in general seem to take all different approaches. Yeah, there's multiple ways to do themes. Garjola says, I do a lot of LaTeX through org mode. I can help you when you're at the research stage for videos. I will definitely bug you about that because I, like I said, not much of a LaTeX expert. Nix is awesome. Yeah, it is cool. I actually got an email from someone who works on Nixt proposing that I interview Pierre and John. And I definitely want to do that, but I'm not prepared to at the moment because I need to do a little bit more research into Nixt and try to like use it a bit before I can have a better conversation with him about it. Yeah, I'm also thinking about doing podcasty type things too, which might fit in there, but we'll see about that. Nova says maybe do a video series on Doom Emacs. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, what's the name of the channel? Zaist Programming already has a long series on Doom Emacs. I don't really want to like step on his territory, and you know, like we're more about writing the things from scratch anyway. Not to say that I have anything wrong with Doom. I think Doom is awesome. I highly suggest Doom to anybody who doesn't want to have to write their own config from scratch. Gon says, are we through with Magit? No, not necessarily. There's things I still want to cover, like a couple more techniques that I want to cover, but I won't be prioritizing making those videos unless people are really asking for them, because the more videos about Magit that I make, the less views I get, it seems. But that seems to be the case with every series that I do, is like the first video, the introduction to whatever it is, gets a lot of views, and then every successive video gets less and less. So I don't really know like what that means in terms of like, maybe it's the way that I'm describing the videos, like people aren't seeing the value in them if they haven't seen the earlier videos, but I'm trying to work on that a little bit to see if I can find a better strategy to make the individual later videos in a series more interesting, so we'll see. Edda says, your From Scratch series is perfect. I would definitely watch a more advanced version. Yeah, thank you for that. I wouldn't even call it advanced. I would call it actually more true to the From Scratch moniker, where you learn Emacs and you learn Emacs Lisp at the same time. You also learn what's in the box of Emacs without being distracted by things that are external to it. So I wouldn't even call it advanced. I would call it more fundamental, I guess. Noble and Savage says 53 watching but only 30 likes. Yeah, like the video if you have the ability to do so at the moment. Also, that apparently helps the YouTube algorithm somehow. Garjola says, I promise I will watch Geeks videos with intense attention. Well, you would have to, because otherwise you might fall asleep. Case Duckworth says, David is the Emacs Terry Gross. Is that like NPR or something? Wind Up Boy says, eventually you will be drawn to the dark side and embrace Common Lisp. Actually, that's something I did want to talk about. At some point, I want to start talking more about Lisp in general, Lisp and Scheme, like not just talking about, you know, Emacs, but trying to cover sort of educating people on Lisp, but without doing like a super long series on how to write Lisp, because I feel like that would just be boring and people would get, you know, like when I did the Emacs Lisp series, gradually over time, people lost interest. So I would love to do some videos on Common Lisp, on Scheme, etc., all different types of implementations and whatnot, but I'm not exactly sure the right way to do that yet. Thomas says, just wanted to say thank you so much for what you're doing. Your videos really brought back my passion for Emacs and coding in general. I appreciate your work a lot. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, because you know, it's nice to hear that people are getting interested in Emacs and in coding and whatnot from watching the videos. What I would really like to see in general is, you know, people who aren't programmers by trade get into programming because they like hacking on Emacs, because I think that it gives you a lot of power if you are able to write code that can do things for your workflow and for your system that you decided to do, and you're not beholden to whatever the designer of your programs says that you should do, or how you should operate, or how you should think. So I think it gives it empowers people to learn how to do programming, and I think Lisps are great for learning how to program and doing really powerful coding without having to be an expert in programming languages. Jacob says, I've personally been trying to find more on org publish, but haven't had a lot of luck, so something on that would interest me. Yeah, I feel like there's not enough good info on that. However, I haven't gone and scoured the internet for blog posts on it, but I think I know how I would cover it. And it would be a pretty holistic approach, I think, because I'm even doing the templating for the pages of my site in Emacs Lisp. If you go look at the publish.el files in the repos for the System Crafter site, etc., you'll see that I've got a bunch of, well, I'll just show you. A bunch of eLisp code that sets up the template for the site using something called, what is it, ESXML? ESXML, yeah. So basically, I have a bunch of Lisp forms that are doing the templating for the site, which is pretty cool. And then also, org mode takes care of a lot of things as well, but it's pretty nice to be able to do everything in Emacs Lisp. Probably would be better if I broke this out into separate files or even made a library out of it, but I haven't done it yet. This sounds like spam. Good morning, young man. If you ever thought about giving a hand to this gentleman called Salty Cracker, yeah. Somebody let me know if you see spammers in the chat, and I'll get rid of them. Raja says, maybe a series on replacing existing applications with equivalents in Emacs. Yeah, probably should do something like that at some point. Minican says, is the Cats are still around? I see Daniel pop up every now and then in IRC, but I think he might be busy with other stuff at the moment. But I think I should probably add more people to the wiki maintainers group. So if you're interested in helping to maintain the System Crafters wiki, let me know and I'll add you to the group. I know that Minican has a pull request that I still have not finished reviewing because I haven't had time to get back to it. So having other people around who can review pull requests, or at least try to help validate the information, would be really helpful, I think. Maximilian says, it would be amazing if you could present some ways in working with org mode files with other people who don't use Emacs. It's really difficult to do that because org mode files don't have a lot of utility if you're not using Emacs. So kind of, it would be nice if there was a way to do that. I had somebody talking about that in the Discord yesterday. Like they want to write up information about code bases as sort of like a, like analyzing a code base, writing up notes about it, linking to parts of the source, but how do you share this information with coworkers? It's kind of a general problem. Garjola says, not a series, but some kind of making of about how you go about creating a video from research to outline to recording, editing, etc. Yeah, I would like to do that at some point. If people would be interested in that kind of thing, I'd certainly try to do it either on a stream or as a video. Case says, Emacs out of the box, Emacs from first principles. Yeah, maybe one of those would be a good title for the series. Fresh air, yeah, that's right, that's what I thought. Noble and Savage says, polls, the community polls are a way to get the algos to like you. I've not heard that before. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to look into that. If you have any links where people talk about that, let me know. Benoit says Clojure. Yeah, for sure. At some point, Clojure would be great to look at because I like Clojure a lot. Edda says, I think it's not something about your channel losing views in a series. People like to check out something new. Even game walkthroughs go down in views after the first couple episodes. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, they're curious about a topic, but they don't necessarily have enough interest to stick with it. So that's probably a good point. Halondo says, more videos about the fundamentals of Emacs are appreciated. Ankit says, I'd watch Scheme Guile videos and especially the practical aspect. Yeah, so I'm going to go more in depth on Guile for sure. Like, I think that Guile has utility for people who are doing system crafting on GNU systems because Guile is hooked up to a lot of stuff. Obviously, Geeks being one of those things. So we're going to go in depth on Guile at some point, and we're going to do that through working on an actual project. I don't like talking about things in hypotheticals. I like to focus on an actual project and teach things as I build the project up, sort of like I did with the Emacs Lisp series. So, okay. So anyway, that is why I will definitely do a Guile video. Sorry, Sherry, if I said that you're a spammer. You sound to be an actual person. Excuse me. I am 63 years of age. I just started learning to code. I started with Linux first, but that was a good decision. Thank you, sir. Okay, that's great. If you just started to code, that's awesome. I'm not sure what Linux is though. Oh, Linux, the OS. That's great. West says, I love Clojure, more pure functional programming, and great REPL support for the browser. Yep, definitely. Gon says, try the book Land of Lisp. I have not read that one yet. I read Practical Common Lisp and like On Lisp and ANSI Common Lisp, and all those books like way back in whatever year that was. But yeah, I have not read Land of Lisp yet. Case says, I really like Lisp for that kitchen sink approach. It's big and messy and old and crufty, and it's full of people just doing things how they want to do. Turns out that's how my brain works. Yeah, well, for me, I like being creative and doing things my own way. But if you've ever heard of the Lisp curse, that's sort of the problem with Lisp, is that it attracts all of the lone wolf programmers who want to do their own thing, and then it's harder to build a broader community because people write their own tools instead of sharing with other people. So, I mean, it's not necessarily across the board true, but it's true enough that the Lisp curse is kind of it's a true meme. Jacob says, I found a different eLisp HTML templating package, PP-HTML. Haven't heard of that one, so I'll have to check that out. Ivan says, of course I'm late again. Well, you're not that late. I mean, it's only, what, 30 minutes in? Let's see. So org is just text. Yeah, it's just text, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to somebody who doesn't use Emacs. I mean, if they've used Markdown before, it doesn't look that out of the ordinary, but still, it's, you know, I think to really to get the benefits of org, you kind of need to have Emacs. Garjola says, it's not system crafting, but comparison of different Lisps, what they're good for, commonalities, specificities. Yeah, that would be probably the level at which I would cover some of these. I would be comparing the differences in features and implementation details of Scheme versus Lisp, or different Scheme implementations, or even different common Lisp implementations. Or even like more non-standard Lisps like Clojure or Carp or other things like that. The Kaka says you can use Pandoc or other utilities to export org files to more mainstream formats. Yes, that is probably the primary way that you could share things that you made in org mode to coworkers. If you convert it to another format, like let's say to a presentation or maybe like a Word document or something else using Pandoc. So that is definitely a possibility. Glenn says workflows of tools and how to combine them work for me. So tools in isolation will leave me with how do I use this, e.g. journal and dailies, Roam and Brain. Yeah, so I do want to do some more of that stuff. Actually, the video that I'm going to do next week is some specific customizations you can use for org Roam to kind of tie things together. If you watched the stream from last week about org-db API, I'll cover a little bit of that, but also some other things I've been thinking about as well. So Shabam says, any plans on revisiting Emacs from scratch? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's see. Minas Mazar says Elixir. I have not looked at Elixir at all, but you know, some other languages like that might be interesting to take a look at. Let's see. Okay, Noble and Savage is linking a video. Thanks for giving the YouTube video ID, because as you know, they eat the links. Glue Ninja says, problem for me with longer videos is finding the time to watch it in one session. I usually have to watch over several sessions. That's the problem, yeah. And my assumption is whenever you have a long video and you have to stop for some reason, the likelihood of you coming back to finish it is a lot less, because when do you find the time to come back, especially if you have, like, if it's been 2 weeks and you have to come back. So Shorter videos, for sure. That's where I'm headed these days. I have these shorter videos. Sherry says, thank you so much, sir. I spent the last 5 years working on direct machine learning, reinforced machine learning, so thank you for recognizing I'm not a bot. Yep. Yeah, definitely not a bot. Kay says, oh yeah, I've heard of the Lisp curse. I think that's another reason I like it. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't care about the Lisp curse per se because I'm just going to write my own stuff regardless of what anybody does. Okay, Gon says, Land of Lisp teaches common Lisp programming as a fantasy adventure. So I guess it takes some inspiration from Why the Lucky Stiff, that whole series of Ruby tutorials, maybe. Wind Up Boy says, an Emacs package for project skeletons in various languages would be interesting. I think there is one. I can't remember. It may be called Skeleton or something like that too, but I haven't seen it in a while. Mayush says, the main reason I can think of people leaving after 5 minutes is the discussion we have in the start. People see the topic of the stream, click on it, see you reading the comments, and leave. Well, for the streams, for sure. I don't really worry about it so much for the streams. Like, if people want to come watch the stream recordings, I think they're the type of person who actually wants to see what we're talking about anyway, because the discussion is part of the streams. If it was, if you don't want to see discussion, then you probably want to see a recorded video on a topic. So, but I do need to be leaving chapter markers so that people can jump right to the actual topic at some point, because, you know, I didn't expect that the channel brainstorming session was going to take this long, but it will be nice if I tell people when the actual potluck starts. Wes says, I would argue that the REPL is the most important part of Lisp development. They're the only REPLs that allow you to maintain state on reload, move into different files, namespaces, and import dependencies. A REPL should behave close to a shell. Yeah, I mean, it is, interactive development with a REPL is a very useful tool, and I definitely agree that Lisp does it better than most. I mean, many languages have REPLs, and you can do a lot with those REPLs, but I feel like something about Lisp is better than the others from that perspective. Sherry is, I think, thanking MiniKN for welcoming me to the pack. I spent 32 years as a knuckle dragger and kicking down doors. It is so much fun now to belong in something else. Yeah, well, you know, hacking on fun stuff is a lot of fun. Brad says 1 hour is a perfect length for longer vids. Yeah, but it's still a little bit too long, I think. I mean, sometimes a video has to be 1 hour long. There's a couple of videos that I made, like, let's say the Geeks installation video or the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Emacs. I mean, those videos have to be an hour. There's no way I can make them any shorter. However, most videos don't need to be that long, and I could probably do a better job of breaking them down into individual videos. Parents of the Dead. Yeah, I've seen that before. I haven't actually tried it. Let's see. MiniKN says, I don't even know what that nick was supposed to mean. Just stuck with it. Well, that sounds good. I mean, it's cool. Wind Up Boy says, the length of a video is a function of the complexity of the topic. For sure. I mean, part of my goal is to try to break things down to a point where things are not as complex, because I'm trying to demystify things in a lot of cases. I mean, that's sort of been the whole point of Emacs from Scratch and a lot of the other videos, even about geeks and whatnot, is to try to make these things more approachable. However, sometimes you can't really do that in less than an hour, so. Glenn says, keen to do more projects like the EXWM collective effort. Yeah, me too. Actually, that's sort of why, another reason why I'm thinking about doing a second channel for the hacking streams, is because I like that a lot. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I would even consider doing more streams per week doing that, but I don't think I want to clog up this channel with all that. Brad said, that's why I said for longer vids, 20 to 40 minutes is good otherwise. Yeah, for me, I think the sweet spot is 15 to 25, if I can get it to that, but 15 to 20 is even better. 40 is good for a long video. All right, so I'm hearing a lot of really good suggestions, and not as many requests to go back to other stuff, so maybe I think I'll think of something new to do, which it may end up being the new Emacs from Scratch, whatever we end up calling that. But yeah, that one is kind of on the tip of my mind right now, so I might start that pretty soon. I do have, you know, a couple more videos for Org Roam and Magit that I would like to do. And there's other random topics that keep coming up that I need to make a video on that I haven't gotten back to yet. But maybe like doing websites with org mode and also the Emacs from scratch thing might be the more upcoming things that we'll do soon. Okay, Emacs Package Potluck. The time has finally arrived. So just like last time, we're gonna try a bunch of Emacs packages. We're gonna see how far we get. We'll see if I can actually set them up and make them work. Last time we had fairly decent results, I think. I mean, a lot of them I managed to get to work. We figured some things out with them anyway. So we're gonna try it again and see how much fun we can have. So I have the list of suggestions that we did not get to last time. They're actually right here. So the people who suggested things last time, I'm going to try to get through those. But also, if you have suggestions for packages, please feel free to drop them in the chat right now. And if you think of any over the course of the stream, we can add those to the list. We did a lot of packages last time. I didn't put a link to the things we've already covered, so I may have to skip anything that we've already seen the last time. Garjola says, a bot that does not respond to the chat but does to the audio of the stream, not bad. Actually, you just need to read a bit of its last comment to trigger it. I don't know. Really? That would be really like too impressive if that was actually a bot doing that. So the person that we said might be a bot, can you respond in the chat to say that you're not a bot? Because I'm not going to respond to your name. We're doing a little test here. Appenzell says org Roam UI is interesting. A nice front end for org Roam. Do we have that here? No, but let's add another suggestion from Appenzell here. So I haven't installed org Roam UI yet, mainly because it's not as. Oh, I was trying to make a video on org Roam UI, and since it's not on Melpa or Elpa or anything yet, I didn't do a video because it requires using straight to install, and I didn't want to sort of exclude people who couldn't do that. Hi, Thomas. Nice to see you. Let's see. Evil replaced with register will save a lot of wasted time on copy and paste. So we'll take a. So is that like a package, or is that something that's built into Emacs? Let's see. So let's write it down. Evil replace with registers. So registers are something I have not used very much. Org sidebar, if you never used it before, it seems nice for long texts. So is that? Yeah, we'll look at it in a second. Benjamin says, again, I'm late. Maybe you're not late. GNU Ninja says, is selectric mode similar to Olivetti? No, selectric mode is actually... Did we cover that yet? Yeah, we haven't covered that yet. You'll see. It'll be a surprise. Sherry says, if I was about what I know about GPF in GPF with AI, then use Vinafi AI. So this could be a person who knows some things about AI or machine learning. So now I realize that I've been unrespectful if they are not a bot. Garjola is apologizing. Frederick is here. Okay. Sherry is using a speech to text. I didn't ignore it. There's too many things happening right now in the chat that are attracting my attention. Let me go back to what we were saying before. So where was view mode mentioned? View mode kappa. Okay, you're using the kappa icon. View mode. So I missed that one. I mean, view mode, it's not really going to be that useful for me because I don't know Vue. I've used it once. So let's see, what else? Aben says, I think I will mention my own packaged evil text object tree sitter. That sounds interesting. And if we don't get to some of these, we'll do them again another time. Case, you ruined the surprise, dude. Wind Up Boy says customizing company completions. Yeah, I don't know, like, is there a package we can use for that? Minas Mazar says, what about Embark? I would like to do a full video on Embark at some point because there's a lot of cool things it can do, so I'll save that for an actual video. Okay, so Evil replaced with Register is a separate package which makes copying and pasting from Register with Evil motions. Okay, cool. So this is actually a package. And part of the fun here is me figuring out how to use the things that we're suggesting, so. Devdocs.el, did I do that last time? I can't remember. Thomas says, org Gantt? Sure. We'll have to have an agenda probably. Org Real, yeah, so Tyler made a package called org Real. Try package to try things quick. Company tab 9 is great for code completion. Yeah, tab 9 is kind of interesting. Let's see. Yeah, let's write that down. So ZW Wang says company tab 9. So if you don't know what tab 9 is, it's basically like one of those AI-driven code completion services. I think. Pierre says, does anyone have a working configuration of LSP with Terraform language server? I can't get mine working. I have not seen one, but definitely if someone has done it, please give a suggestion to Pierre. Crazy Chicken says, I personally prefer React. Well, that React is what I've used the most. I haven't used Vue that much. I did a little bit. Kay says, I'm sorry, I guess I'm just too dang helpful. Well, yeah, being helpful is not a problem. But we're trying to surprise people. I guess surprise and delight, we can say. Sherry says, I learned how to do Linux with a gentleman with a beard and 3 daughters and a cup of coffee. I drink my coffee in my garage by a learn how to install Linux. Cool. Appenzell says, these potlucks are great for finding new packages to try out. Yeah, like half the packages I have not heard of, so it's really good for that, for sure. Gon says, does anybody know the current number of org packages? Well, let's see. What is this? Page has 71 lines. What about, I don't know if I even have this. Well, this doesn't say that there are that many, but I think there's a lot more packages related to org than this. I don't know if it's because I don't have this, let's see. Let's see if we see any more org packages after refreshing. Yeah, okay. There's a lot more org packages than this, so I don't know why exactly they don't show up here. Org Gantt sounds nice. Narrow. Sherry says, thank you, especially being at 63 years of age and traumatic brain injury. Yeah, I mean, I can understand why you would need to use text-to-speech on that. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so we've got a list here, and we can try to give it a shot. Let's see. Let's go with, hey, Karthik, nice to see you. I do want to try to show consult dir again, but I might do that with actual video and not here because I think it deserves more coverage than just showing it one-off. I think I tried it last time. Last time it didn't go so well. Karthik says, how far did we get down the list? We haven't started yet. We've just added some more things to it, basically. So we're starting where we left off. Okay. Fancy Narrow. Haven't heard of that. All right, so we'll add some more things later. So far, let's go ahead and go with Beacon as the first one. So let's take a look at Emacs Beacon. I'm pretty sure this is the one that highlights the current line and makes it flash a little bit. Bill Nye says, how many hours have you put into Emacs in your lifetime? I don't know. I spend all day, every day in Emacs, so it's kind of hard to say. Never lose your cursor again. So basically it makes your cursor have a nice little highlight whenever you move things around, which can be helpful for tracking which line your stuff is on. Seems to be, was it, okay. Was it originally written by Tassilo Horn and then Malabarba took it over or something? Anyway, let's install beacon mode and then turn it on and see what happens. I'm going to drop into another Emacs config. Let me pull this up in vterm. Let's see, export, Emacs load path, Emacs, there we go. Beacon feature is now part of Emacs, if I recall. I forgot the name of it. Interesting. Sad thing is that Beacon has an issue with a scratch buffer. That's weird. We'll have to check that out. Use package, Beacon. I'm using straight here, so I'm going to use straight T. And then we can try to install it. We're going to clone, build it. All right. So there's one called Pulse. Yeah, I don't see it here. And this is Emacs 28. Let's see. What about... Whoops. Delete, delete, delete. Control HF, pulse, pulse, momentary highlight region, one line. Okay, so actually, there is a file called pulse.el. Who wrote this? Okay, someone else. And is there like a mode in here? How do you turn it on? Pulse line hook function. Manage temporary pulsing of faces and overlays as a temporal decoration technique. So yeah, Brad says I turn on global HL line mode and the current line is highlighted. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like a building block for doing this if you wanted to. Pulse is a part of CDET. So what is CDET? I don't know why my voice did that. Let's check this out. What, did I need to be HTTPS? Ah, crap. Fat fingered it. Come on now. Source for, oh, yeah, okay. So obviously I've either had too much caffeine or not enough caffeine this morning. Because my fingers are not cooperating. So anyway, this link doesn't work. SourceForge, okay, SourceForge might have eaten it. Collection of Emacs development environment tools, okay. So this is some stuff that I haven't really seen very much. It looks kind of interesting. Anyway, that's sort of beside the point. So let's go back and take a look at... Brad said that high-pitched voice is a sound of personal wonder. You might be right in that case. It's not because I'm hitting puberty or anything. I'm almost 40, so it shouldn't be happening right now. All right, so if we run the pulse, yeah, it's not even interactive. Hey, Marduk. Pulse, momentary highlight one line. It needs an argument. What argument could you possibly want? Whoops. Like I said, I can't type today. Okay. Oh, it's... What is that? Oh, it wants the point. Why don't you just pick up the point, dude? Okay, so that worked. It actually does take the point. So it does a little bit of a flash on it, which is cool. I'm guessing this is meant to be used by other packages so that if the package wants to cause a line or a region to flash, then it can call this up. Current region, is that the thing? Anyway, so let's look at beacon instead. So what about beacon mode? So now, let's see if I jump to another line. Okay, so we saw that there was a little bit of a color there whenever I press enter. If I control O to jump back, I think that line will also be highlighted temporarily. And the animation looks kind of cool. It has a little bit of a gradient. I'm guessing there's probably variables that you can use, change the color, the size, blink delay, blink duration. So you can customize pretty much everything about how this looks if you wanted to use it. This is not Pulse, obviously. This is Beacon we're talking about here. So, yeah. Yes, please. So yeah, it seems to be working anytime you jump around. Yeah, cool. So anyway, Might be useful if you have trouble tracking where your cursor goes around in your buffers. All right, so now let's see. Probably not much more to say about that one. There's some customizations that can be made. The appearance of the beacon is configured by beacon size and beacon color. To prevent the beacon from blinking only on specific situations, configure beacon don't blink major modes. Okay, so there's like a few different ways you can customize turning off the blinking if you want to. And you can do it buffer local with the turning beacon mode off in a particular buffer. It can also push the mark for you whenever the point moves a long distance. So I guess if you move a long way, then it can auto mark the previous location, which might be useful for some people. There's probably other ways to do that though. But that's beacon. Not that complicated of a package, but not every package needs to be complicated. So it's nice to see sometimes something that's a little less complicated. Whoopsie, what did I do here? What did I have bound for reset? Was it Control Shift R? Probably. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the notes, and I need to save the link to that so people can find it. Come on, you save it? There you go. So now the next one is Ement. I don't know how you actually pronounce that, Ement. This is a new package by Alpha Papa for using Matrix, I think. And we'll see if we can make this work. I'm not exactly sure how well it's going to work. I need to, well, I don't mean because the package doesn't work. I mean because I need to log in to Matrix server probably to make it work. And I don't know how much trouble we're going to have with that, but we'll give it a try. I might have to check on another screen if I have a password. But it is meant to be a client. Oh, yeah. That's one thing I forgot to do. So let me... Did I set up a function for that? Live crafter timestamp. I think I did not keep that function that I had written the last time to add a new timestamp. Let's see. Live. Add timestamp. Okay, I did keep that, so I'll just have to do that here. Yeah, I converted that to be a interactive function, and I don't think I saved it for some reason. Live crafter, add timestamp. So now I'll have to do another one for emet.el. Okay, so let's save the link for this one. So like I was saying, this is meant to be a Matrix chat client for Emacs. And if you haven't used Matrix before, it's basically a decentralized open source protocol for chat that's sort of reminiscent of Discord or Slack or other things like that. And you can join the matrix.org server and use bridges to other like IRC networks, or maybe find channels for Emacs and Geeks and a whole lot of other things. So it can be a good opportunity, or sorry, a good protocol for chat for various different things if you don't like IRC specifically, but you can also get to IRC from it. So it could be nice for that. I have not tried this one. I tried the other one that Alpha Papa wrote. I think it's maybe matrix.el, but I have not tried this one yet. So let's see what we need to do to try this one. A lot of screenshots. There we go. We have some Quelpa recipes. I'm guessing we could just change this to be... Wait, you have to install this first. I would imagine that you should be able to pull the dependency using straight, but maybe not. So let's go ahead and drop this into the config. Ah, okay, now I see the connection there. Garjola says Element is a Matrix client, Ement is the Emacs client. So there's like a name joke there, or maybe not a joke per se, but. All right, so let me get back into care mode and then go back to Scratch Buffer, drop this in real quick, and then change it to straight. I think, I don't remember. Control S. I keep hitting Control S constantly. Let me go to my config. Taking forever to load that up. Okay, so I'm looking for GitHub Man, my computer is acting really slow right now. Okay, so host repo. Okay, let's try that then. So I don't even need this probably. It probably, well, okay, let's try it anyway. I'm gonna use host here, host GitHub, repo. That should be enough. I'll try to install this one. Okay, that seems to work. Element would have too many EL. Well, maybe, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So we're cloning some things here and installing. Okay, so Ivan gives what might be the actual real reason. Says read ement.el from the dot and circle back. So it's like L ement. So that's kind of clever. All right, ement connect user ID. Let me go look up what my stuff is because I don't remember at the moment. Come on now. That ain't right. Whoa, I don't have a password? I swear. Let's see. Element, matrix, matrix.org. Okay. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works without me exposing my password. Invalid user ID format, use at username server. Oh, okay, fine. At David, what was that right? Matrix.org. Logging with password, sync request sent. It might be working. Let's see. Wow, okay. So this may have actually worked successfully. So let's join the Emacs room really quickly. And it seems that I'm in the Matrix server. And we have some formatting here, it seems, where the usernames show up in this left-hand pane and the timestamps are on the right-hand side. A little bit of fontification of the text going on. I can't really see the history. Let's see. Oh, we have this, the icon of the chat is here. And the name of the channel, the title of the channel, or I guess description. Let's see, Control C. Do we have anything in Control C? No keys to show. Come on, that ain't right. Here, how about this? Element. Room list, room join. Is there anything like history? Can't be right. Element room send emote. Let's send an emote. But the thing is, I don't have any completions for what emote. Okay, is there an Emacs emote? Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. People are going to be very confused. And I don't even know where I'm supposed to type the chat. Let's see what the docs say. Usage. Emacs connect. Call Emacs connect to connect. Yeah, sure. Special buffers to see events. Switch the room list buffer. How do you send a message? Press return first. All right. There we go. So I don't know if that actually showed an emote or if it just says Emacs. But whatever. All right. MATLAB has a superior indexing. I'm not sure about that one. I have not used MATLAB since college, so. Zero-based indexing is overrated. That's what we're talking about. I see. Okay, so I don't really... Let's check out the room list. Let's see. Element list rooms. Element list rooms. This is going to be a problem, probably. I hope I can kill it when I start it because there's probably a lot of rooms on this server. Oh, okay. So only the ones that I'm in. How about... can I get into the System Crafters chat? Huh. Lever chat bridge. Okay. Let's see. Let's join a room. So can we use Element join room? I think there's a geeks room here. Unable to join room geeks. Yeah, so there's definitely, you know, some user experience things that can be done here. But like I said, I have no idea how to use this package. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm doing things wrong for sure. But that's Emint. It definitely seems to work. You can go into a chat room and send messages and chat with people if you want to. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can disconnect. Boom. Oh, unrecognized network error. Okay, fine. Let's kill some buffers. Cool. So definitely give that a shot if you want to try to use Matrix inside of Emacs, for sure. And if you want a place to try that out, you should definitely go to systemcrafters.chat. And there's some instructions here on how to connect to System Crafters IRC via the Matrix bridge. I think if you go right here, there's some instructions. I think Shom wrote these instructions. And yeah, it tells you how to basically, if you connect to matrix.org and have an account there, then you should be able to connect to System Crafters IRC through the Matrix bridge. So if you want to use IRC without using an IRC client, you could do this instead, which is nice because Element has a pretty good mobile app. Am I missing messages? Okay, Marduk says, is there a video for Excel-like usage in org mode out there? And Ivan says, I believe both Rainier and Mike Zamansky did videos on the topic. Yeah, definitely check either of those sources. I know Rainier is sort of like the primary source of org mode information on YouTube, but Mike Zamansky also has done a lot of stuff. At some point, I want to do spreadsheet type stuff with org mode, but I haven't gotten around to it. I mean, really, I do want to do a more extensive series on org mode at some point, like another sort of from scratch, but teaching like all the concepts in a more focused way, because the videos I've done on org mode so far have not been in-depth enough, I think. It's sort of more just like an overview, so I'd prefer to do something more in-depth, because you can do a lot of things with org mode. I mean, sure, you can write documents with it, but those documents have power that can't be unlocked unless you know all the features. So definitely should do some more work on videos for that. All right, so let's jump back to this file and then try it with System Crafters Matrix Bridge. I'll just put a link to that in here. All right, Shackle. So Shackle is a package for setting window placement rules, and apparently it's easier to use than setting up display buffer A-list yourself. I believe this is a package by Wasamasa. And I have not tried it yet, so this is a great opportunity to try it. And you know, later I might make a video on it. I still think I owe another video on display buffer A-list. I never got back to that. Oh, he moved the repo. I forgot about that. All right, so it is on Melpa. It says it's from Melpa stable, though. I would imagine it'd have to be on regular plain old Melpa too. What did I do? Oh, come on, dude. Copy the link. Thank you. Okay. Let's pull it up in the Emacs config. Whoops. All right, and then just install it. Let's see. It seems to be a macro. So do we have any examples? Okay, so default rule same T. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. Let's try that out. So use package shackle straight T, and then config default rule, and then there's a rules list. Cool. So it seems to be a more concise way to set up these rules, which is kind of nice. It seems you can set it based on the modes of things. Hi, El Cravo. So let's see. Let's set that up real quick. I'm gonna put in the set queue, and we will try to execute that. So I think the way to test this now would be to open a help buffer to see if it opens it in the current window and not open a new window. And I did not do that. What is this? Are we in help mode right now? See, Control H, M. I pressed M. There we go. This is help mode. So, Ultra Half says, I'm a bit confused here, using Qt or Emacs browser. I'm using Qt browser, but I'm using EXWM, so it's basically a buffer in Emacs. So, is this set currently? Same T, okay. Let's try this other thing where we can set a rule for a mode. We'll copy this really quick, and then we will drop that down, drop that down. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Come on. I reflexively hit Control X, S, apparently. Control X, Control S. So, rules, help mode. Let's see, what else do they say about same? Same does not use inhibit window quit implicitly. You would have to make explicit use of it. Okay. Reuse the window. Other window would select if there's more than one window open. Otherwise, pop up a new window. Okay, so it would actually do that. Display the buffer in the current... Wait, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's other. Same and T, display the buffer in the current window. Well, it did not seem to do that, but let's try it one more time. Do I need to turn a mode on? Shackle mode? Ah, okay, so that was not clear. All right, so now I've got Shackle mode turned on. I have not reevaluated the Shackle rules here, so I think Shackle rules should still be nil. Okay, so let me try this one more time. Control H, F. I'll do help on use package. Okay, so that did open in the same frame or same window. So that's great, actually. That would be enough to sort of control how windows are popping up. In fact, I might use this myself because honestly, I've been having troubles with my own display buffer A-list config. And if this can actually do it a little bit more smoothly, then it might be helpful for me. And as you can see, this is pretty minimal config for controlling the window placement rule, or at least the default rule for buffers that show up. So a thing you could do in theory is by default make all buffers show up in the same window that you're currently in, but then for specific modes, like let's say compilation buffer or something, you can make it go to a lower window. Same thing for any shells that get opened. So it's nice to have the ability to control where things get placed on the screen, because Emacs has a very inconsistent and sometimes annoying heuristic for placing new windows whenever you are opening buffers for different things. So it's kind of nice to be able to control that. So let's just actually do that. Well, no. How about we'll leave this in as an example. And I forgot to set a timestamp for Shackle now, I realize. Okay, so that's Shackle. That's great. We got that done. I mean, I guess I could show some more things, but we got a lot more packages to go through, so maybe we will call it on that one for now. Okay, so this one was Shackle. I'm gonna have to go back and adjust these. Okay, so the next one is some of the Karthik's packages. So like I said, we'll probably look at Consult Dir in a full video. So Popper is actually an interesting one. I would probably do a video on that at some point too, but for now, let's just take a look at it. Whoops, I think I had too many P's in there, but DuckDuckGo was good enough, so. All right, so this is a minor mode to summon and dismiss buffers easily. So I think that there's a few examples here. So like being able to pop up a Python REPL from anywhere and even cycle through the pop-up windows, which is kind of nice. Let's see. What is it showing me here? Pop recycle. Okay, so it's cycling through multiple pop-up windows. So if you have like multiple shells or REPLs that you have as pop-ups, you can cycle through them, which is pretty nice. You can also turn an existing window into a pop-up, which seems pretty cool. So let's just pull this into config. I saw Shackle mentioned here. Okay, so it respects rules that you have in display buffer, a list, or Shackle, or with Shackle, which is good. All right, so let me pull this in. Use package Shackle, Shackle rules, popper display control. Okay, you can turn it off, which is good. Here we go. Ensure popper. There's some suggestions here, which is good. Let me copy this over. And then let's, once again, I forgot to set a timestamp. Here we go, popper. Let's go back to our Emacs config. I'll go paste this in. Change this to straight T. And then we will leave these key bindings because I think they will be useful. And this popper reference buffers, we'll have to take a look at that in a second to see what that's for. End of file during parsing. No, there's not. It's all good. Control-Alt-X, okay. Who knows? El Cravo says, I'm finally doing my EFS, kind of confused, but trying to do my best. Yeah, you know, if it's hard, or if something doesn't make any sense, definitely come to the System Preppers Discord and ask questions. Ivan says, when I got display with higher resolution, I found it really annoying that Emacs would horizontally open windows because height was more than 90 rows or so. Yes, depending on the width of your screen, Emacs will change how it opens windows, so it's good to have a consistent way for it to open windows across different have a consistent way for windows to be placed across different screen configurations, I think. Mini Can says popper is really great. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, and at this point, I can't live without it. So I use something for popping up eShell buffers that are project specific. I think it's called eShell popup. I think there's also a vterm popup too, but I like the fact that this is a more general solution, especially if you have like notes that you're writing for a project, but you don't want to have the notes visible all the time. I think this could be really good for that. Let's look at this popper reference buffers. Oh, I'm in the wrong session. Popper reference buffers. Shell pop. I haven't used that one. So currently popper reference buffers has messages, output, help mode, compilation mode. Oh, because I ran that. Original value was just messages. So the list of buffers to treat as pop-ups. So what if I go to the messages buffer then? Okay, so it's not automatically a pop-up, but let's see. Karthik is here, so he can probably shed some light. That was called what now? Reference buffers. What link did it click on? List of buffers are treated as pop-ups. Each entry in the list can be a regex. We'll treat the following as pop-ups. Any buffer ending in output. These are customization options. So how does that actually work in practice? So I can use popper toggle latest. Okay, so how, oh, interesting. That's kind of interesting. So control grave. Oh, that's a problem because I have that set up actually as a binding for what's it called, Dunst. Let me think of a different binding for this really quickly. So how about control C, what about control C, control P? Okay, so I'll do control C, control P just because I have a problem right now. And then for this, I can do control C, alt P. And then control M P, which there is a binding for that. That's backward list. So control C, control M P. Okay, that's going to be a little bit obnoxious, but we're going to try it here. So control C, control P. Nice. So that's a help buffer. Control C, control P. So it just toggles whatever the latest one is, but I can also cycle by control C, meta P. And if I'm in another buffer, control C, meta P. Okay, so it cycles between the pop-ups. You can see down here that it's showing the key binding is going to popper cycle. And we have a nice little pop here in the mode line to show what we're doing. Control C, meta P. Okay, so that's a nice way to be able to cycle between them. So if you have different pop-ups or buffers that are considered to be pop-ups, like messages or output or compilation mode. So if you want any of these to be pop-up buffers automatically, then that's a nice way to do it. I would love that for compilation mode for sure. And then Control-C, Control-P makes it go away. So if you want to get rid of the window, you can do that. If you do Control-C, Meta-P, does it pop it up? Cool, it does pop it up. Cool. Yeah, that all makes sense. That's great. And then toggle type. So I think for this buffer, if I do Control-C, Control-Meta-P, it changes it to not a pop-up anymore. And if I use Control-C, Control-P, Control-C, Alt-P, okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. Any other comments here? Try running a shell command that produces some output. So, oops. Async shell command, or no, let's do shell. Well, what is the binding for shell command that isn't async? So that, yeah, so I need to do normal shell command. Let's see. Stop, dude. Async shell. All right, so shell command. Okay, meta exclamation point. All right, so ls. Okay, so that shows up as a pop-up. That's kind of cool, actually. If you want to run a command really quickly, like let's say ps aux or something. Like let's say you don't know about proced and you wanted to use shell command, or let's say yeah, ps aux grep Emacs. Then it shows up as a pop-up at the bottom, so you have that output there, which is pretty nice. I like that. Minican says, I think it's also projectile away and pop-up groups that way. It's really awesome. I like that a lot. I think I'll try to integrate that into my own setup. What happens, let's see. Can it automatically snatch in eShell buffers? That's what I want to know. If I go back to the scratch buffer, so if I launch eShell, I think it's just eShell with stars around it. I'll kill this buffer. eShell. Let's reevaluate this. And then if I do eShell, boom, it's automatically a pop-up. That's awesome. Love that. Proced, yeah, I need to do a little short or something on proced because it's pretty awesome. It requires a little bit of configuration to make it better and more like top, but yeah, really, really useful. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these bindings back to what they were before because I couldn't use them the right way. And I don't want people to get confused. These are the recommended bindings from Karthik, so we're gonna go with these in the config that I share to you all. So I'm just gonna paste that right there. I'm gonna delete that, join that line, boom. All right, so we'll save that for another time, or for when we paste it in. Okay. John likes the popper package, yeah. It's pretty awesome. Next is Ytel. Now this one, I don't know how successful we're gonna be right now. This is another package that Karthik wrote, I think. So let's see. Let's go up to Karthik's profile. Man, these things are really slow today. No, maybe not. Emacs, Ytel. It may be that Karthik told me about this package. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Now I've clarified that Karthik did not write Ytel, but Karthik did tell me about it, so you get the credit for that at least. All right, so Minican says, as a Doom user, I use its pop-up manager and let Popper manage summoning them. That way one doesn't have to use Shackle. That's an interesting way to look at it. Marduk says, do shorts on some of these packages? Yeah, I think some of them I will. Like Popper is an excellent candidate for that. Shackle maybe too, actually. So yeah, I would definitely consider that. Some packages, I mean, I can make a 5-minute video on them, but even that might be too long. All right, Ytel is an experimental YouTube front end for Emacs. The goal is to allow the user to collect the results of a YouTube search in an L-feed-like buffer and manipulate them with Emacs Lisp. So No installation instructions, but Karthik said it's on Melpa, so we should be able to just jump right back into this config and then hit it with use package. Ytel, straight T. Let's install it. Case says, as far as I know, Shackle was written in response to Popper. Well, I don't know why someone would think that it would need to be written in response to Popper. Popper's pretty useful in its own regard. Hey, Marcos. I'm doing well. How are you? Okay, so we have YTEL. Let's see. Is there... Okay, so we just run YTEL. YTEL, search terms, system crafters. How about this? Let's do Emacs. End of file parsing JSON. Okay, is there too many results? Let's do Ytel again. System crafters. End of file while parsing JSON. I don't know what's going on with that. Is there an issue about it? End of file. Cannot find any results. End of file while parsing JSON. Should be fixable by pointing Ytel Invidious API URL to a working Invidious instance. Well, how am I going to find that, eh? Okay. Anybody got... Okay, here we go. Here are some. No sign up required on this one. Let's try this one. Whoops. What did I just do? Copy link. So I need to set Ytel Invidious API URL. So let's go back to Scratch Buffer. And in config, we're going to do set q Ytel Invidious, what was it? API URL. And is that enough? What is the default value for this? Okay, so it's just a flat API, or flat URL. Okay, so now maybe if I run... Oh, there's a choose instance. That's cool. Exit buffer. Thank you. Okay, something's wrong here. Is it because it's still open? Yeah, let's kill it first. All right, search terms, Emacs. There we go. This seems to be doing something. Okay, so a lot of familiar faces in this list, so including some who seem to be angry about the suggestion to use Emacs. So if I press enter on this video here, it doesn't do anything, but maybe it's because I'm in evil mode. Press enter, buffers read only. Let's see, there must be a binding for this. All right, so, whoa. Come on now. My key bindings are doing a great job today. So is there something for playing? You can use a play videos with an external player, but I think it doesn't wire that up by default. MPV, I saw mentioned somewhere. Stream video at point in MPV. So let me just copy this really quick. Drop it into the config. Scratch. And then I'll put it out here. Probably should be defined relative to the config, the use package statement, I think. Okay, so we've got it executed now. Ytel watch, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the Ytel buffer, and then up here I'll use Ytel watch, and we'll see if it opens MPV, and if MPV destroys my entire stream. Okay, all right, cool. So my MPV instance did actually pop up correctly, so that's great. Let's see. This guy's. You'll see that now. There we go. Yeah. I see now that my headphones are a little bit translucent. That's freaky. So that's great. That does actually work. You do have to do that one extra step of setting up a function to play the video at point. But if you have MPV installed, then this makes it pretty easy, which is great. But it is nice that it does show you an and an lfeed-like buffer where you just have a whole listing of things, and you can do any search query you want. So if you wanted to see the latest videos, or maybe the current videos that show up as a result for Emacs, then you could do that by using Ytel. I wonder if you can look up, let's see, channel. One can easily subscribe to YouTube channels via RSS feed, but sometimes I just want to search. So this is mainly for searching videos inside of Emacs, because usually if you wanted to watch them from a channel, you can use RSS. And I think there's a good blog post by Pavel Koritov that I think he just posted about how to watch YouTube videos via RSS with MPV and lfeed. I think it's at the end or near the end. Yeah. So anyway, if you want more information on that, you should definitely check out this blog post that he just posted. I think it's like a couple days ago. So let me jump back to the notes for this. And then, let's see, YouTube via lfeed. I'll just put this here in case anybody wants that link. Oops, all right. Next, there is a package called Vwyat. I don't know exactly how you would pronounce that, but it looks like quiet with a V, and I think that is a music player for Emacs. So we're gonna take a look at that one now as well. So let me mark this. Okay, so let me look it up. Emacs Vwyat. Music player and explorer. So I guess if you want an alternative to EMMS, this might be it. Wow. All the overlay keys do not go away now. That's excellent. Okay. Escape cleared them. So it's similar in scope to Last.fm. All tracks are played from YouTube using MPV. Now that's cool. I didn't know about that. And music info is taken from Last.fm. Vwyat supports the discovery mode, where it lets you create your own playlist based on the artist, genre, or loved songs and similarities. So I wonder if I'm going to be able to play a song for 2 seconds and not get struck by the copyright gods. Let's find out. Hey, Jafer. I'm gonna go to the Emacs config. I'm gonna cancel out of that one. Let's drop down here, use package Vwyat straight T. I'm guessing that's enough. Into file during parsing. I don't know what it doesn't like here. Cool, so it does seem to work just with that. Garjola says, I bet that YouTube is going to start suppress the RSS feed if people start not using the web interface. Well, I think that would have already happened, because I think there's quite a few people who are only using the RSS feed at this point. There's definitely a number of people who watch System Crafters videos who are using RSS feed and not going to the main page. So let's see. Still building. Oh, it's building org for MPV. Okay, interesting. Karthik says RSS users are not even a drop it in the bucket of YouTube, and kind of surprised that there are still RSS feeds. Yeah, me too. Honestly, every time that someone reminds me that there's RSS feeds for channels, I'm very surprised that YouTube hasn't turned that off yet. I don't know why, because honestly, I don't see how it benefits them at all. That's like old style Google stuff, you know, where Google used to be nice about things and, like, you know, give hacker type people access to stuff that they wanted to use without having to go through all the other heavy UI. That's not really the strategy anymore, as far as I can tell. Hey, Alex, he says Friday.el. Yeah, we do need a package like that. Make every day Friday. Let's go and try Vwyat. Play. What about artist? Artist info. Display info about artist in a new buffer. How about Faith No More? Let's see if it can give us some information here. Wrong argument type, string PT. Okay, let's see what I'm missing here. Maybe there's some API key that's needed. Anybody file an issue on that? Ivan says, perhaps there's no value for YouTube, but there's certainly in it for me. Yeah, there's definitely value for us, but that's sort of the problem, is that whenever there's only value for the user, then there's no point for Google to do it anymore. Oh, it needs YouTube DL? Oh, you know what? Ah, that can't be the case. You just need to get channel ID. Well, this may not work for us right now. I wonder if I could play something, though. The thing is, like, the background music you hear in the stream right now is coming from MPV. So I don't know if I try to do something, it might cause a problem. Benoit says one reason could be that they are using this as their way to interact with their mobile apps, and there's no point of rewriting it. Well, that could be true. They could be using it themselves. However, I would imagine they might hide it a little bit better if that were the case. Marduk says I'm lagging heavily. Could be. Yeah. I hope it doesn't last long. Okay, let's see. Try it one more time. Okay, let's see, Mr. Bungle. String P, yeah, great. Let's see if we can play something. Voyet, play, track. Let me think for a second. Tab for completion, is that really possible? Yeah, nothing's working. Probably an issue with MPV package somehow, based on what they're saying. Debug your MPV error. Failed to connect to MPV. No video, idle, yes, keep open. Here, let me try this actually. Okay, didn't seem to have an error. Oh, request callback peculiar error. Audio scrobbler. Let's see what this actual page says. XML file does not appear to have any style information associated. Your request is missing a required parameter. I wonder if they've got a bug. That's an old bug. Can't be the same thing. Anyway, maybe it's not the best thing to try at the moment. Let me check my CPU usage at the moment. Firefox is eating some. Who knows? Whoa. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. I think that would probably work if I could figure out what the bug is here, but there's no reason to delay that one any further. So Ranger. Now, Ranger's a good one. I don't know if any of you have used Ranger, the command line application, but it's basically like a file browser for the command line, and super functional, nice user interface. You know, can do some cool stuff. Like if you're using UX RVT, you could do image previews and stuff in the terminal, which is pretty cool. But there is a Ranger package for Emacs that implements similar behavior. And it's if you're using Dired and you like Dired, you don't really need Ranger. But if you haven't used Dired, but you did use Ranger at some point in the past, you might be interested in Ranger. So let me drop back into the other Emacs config. I'll go to the scratch buffer. I'll go put this. Whoops, that's actually not what I wanted to do. Is there installation? Okay, so just package install it. Cool. So let's just use package Ranger straight T, install it. That's what Maury says. There's somewhere there's got to be a way to not have YouTube choose 144p as the default resolution when my internet goes south for a second. Yeah, well, it's probably my stream also doing it. Benoit says, I do use Ranger when Emacs is not around. So we're just going to run Ranger now that we've got it installed. And Ranger window was overwritten. Redirecting window to new frame. What the heck is this all about? I don't know how it picked this up. That's not even a buffer. That is really weird. Garjola says, Dred is too good to even have a look at anything else. I'm very confused. I see the header line here. It seems to have jumped into... Okay, let me check the key bindings, because I think it automatically started previewing a file, and I didn't ask it to. So, JK... Is that going to work here? That's going through the file, which is fine, but... To select a directory. Okay, GH. How about that? GH. Wow. Alex says, I never considered blaming your stream for it. That's much easier. Yeah, well, that's fine if you want to blame the stream. Aben says, in terminal, I find LF to be a much better, faster version of Ranger. I've not tried that yet. So this is really strange. I don't know exactly why Ranger is deciding to do this. What about... Let's kill it. Okay, anything else? I don't even know why this file is open here. Yeah, this is Dred. Why did I open Dred? Why is this open? Why is this open? What is happening? Yeah, all right. This is what I expect to see. So, okay, now we're in an... What the hell, man? So maybe there's not evil binding set up here and I'm pressing the wrong thing. It's probably what's happening. I'm pressing J and J may enter a file. No, it's supposed to do up and down. So the bindings for Ranger here are set up like I have set up for Dred, where you have HJKL, but apparently... It's doing different stuff. So Control H M. This is Ranger preview. So that's so weird. Can I get out of here? Oh, okay. I see what's happening. I know what's happening. I think Shackle is fighting with Ranger here. Let's turn off Shackle. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. So, moral of the story here, don't use Shackle and Ranger at the same time. Let me think about how I want to deal with this. I think Shackle may have set display buffer A list. And Popper did too, but I can't imagine that Popper is the one that's doing this. So, how about this? Let me start over with a fresh config. I'm going to copy what we've got so far here just so that we don't lose it. But, you know, be careful whenever you try this with... Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm seeing too many things on my screen at the same time. Wow, there's multiple frames being created too. That's really freaky. Anyway, be careful whenever you try Ranger with anything that's controlling window placement, because the preview window pop-up apparently is doing some really funky things, and it's even creating new frames, which I really don't like. I don't know why it's happening. Let's drop the config right here. All right, so that's good enough for the moment. I'll save that, and then we're going to just copy the Ranger bit and then go back to the Emacs here, and I'm going to use Control-X-C to exit that. Then we'll go back to vterm, reopen Emacs. And here we'll paste Ranger, load it up. Okay, so now it seems to be working correctly. I think Shackle must have done something that caused it to have that weird problem. So once you start, let's see, let's go to a directory that makes more sense. So maybe projects, code, Emacs from scratch. Is that it? Okay, so whenever you arrow through the folder, it actually gives you previews of everything that you're arrowing over, which is something you don't get by default with Dred. So it's kind of nice if you want a more sort of interactive file browsing experience. And you can see that it doesn't actually turn on org mode here. It's in like the simple mode. So I think there may be a way to turn it on so that it does turn on the mode. However, if you have mode hooks set up, it might do freaky stuff in here. So sometimes it's better if you don't have it set automatically activate the mode for the file that you're previewing. What else does it have that would be interesting? So previous parent directory, next parent directory. So if I hit the square bracket, I can jump to the Emacs folder, which is kind of nice. So it gives you the ability to navigate over a hierarchy of some depth pretty comfortably, I think. So it is nice for that. And I also think it does have some stuff for copying files and renaming files and whatnot. So like capital R, rename, move the current marked files. So I would say it's a more fully featured configuration out of the box that you could use for something like Dred if you wanted to just like have a really good experience without having to do any real work on configuration. And I believe if I press Q here, it just jumps right out of it, which is kind of nice. Free as in Freedom says, do you have a video explaining how to get a pre-configured Emacs testing environment? That is something I do want to provide. I don't have a video on it yet, but I have some code that I'm going to make available at some point, which is basically for that purpose. There's two purposes, really. One is to have a testing environment like I have right now, where it's sort of like an almost blank config that just has a couple things in it that you can use for testing new packages and kind of throwing it away, but also using it as a base for building your own configuration too. So that's something I might do at some point in the near future. MiniKN says maybe configure it once and use Emacs. That's also a good suggestion. You can have a separate folder with just a really plain init.el file, and then use Emacs to. Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. So the Emacs 2 video could be the best place to start with that. So youtube.com/systemcrafters. If you just search my channel for Emacs, or in fact just search YouTube for Emacs 2, I'm probably the only person who made a video on it. Let's see, Emacs 2. Yeah, so that video is basically the one. Anyway, yeah, check that one out. That would be helpful for that. So Ranger, that worked. Let's see, we have about 10 minutes left. Let me try one more package, and we'll see how far we can get with that. Let's see, did we make good progress today? More or less. Okay, we're gonna do selectric mode last. I hope it works. I guess it would have to be using aplay. Let's see, Emacs selectric mode to play the sounds that it needs to play. Selectric mode, is there a website for it? Come on now. Probably I can just install it directly, but I need to know if I need to do any extra configuration. Probably need to turn on selectric mode. Techosaur uses this in his config. Gotta see that. Thank you, Marduk. I'll have to go clean up these timestamps at the end. Selectric mode. Let's just steal Techosaur's config. I guess that's really all that's taking. That's all that it takes. Lost the ability to speak. Use package, selectric mode, right? Yeah. And then straight T. And then we'll just install it and then run the command directly. Okay. Selectric mode. Oh, not that config. This config. Yep. Oh, that scared the hell out of me, dude. Oh, God. All right, so you hear that. That's a little bit too chunky sounding. I don't know what the deal is with that. All right, so I hope that's not killing everyone's ears, but to me that sounds like way too reverby. I don't know. Doesn't sound like a typewriter. Sounds like a Tommy gun or something. Yeah, ouch, for sure. You can customize the noise. All right, let's see about that. Yeah, okay, it does it everywhere. Selectric. I can't hear myself think. Files path. Okay, so is there maybe a list of sounds? I'm glad I'm not the only one that was scared by that. Anybody in headphones has probably got to go like change their pants now, I think. So selectric type sound. So they have wave files there. You can change it to anything. So if you want to make like the ICQ uh-oh, then you can just have uh-oh for every character that you type. I think Benoit has that wave file around somewhere. So if you want to drive yourself insane, then that's certainly an option. Selectric mode map. Affected bindings list. Okay. It does sound like one angry typewriter indeed. Yeah, perhaps they can rename it to pain mode. Yeah, well, definitely it will cause some ear pain, I think. If nothing else, it will cause some great anxiety. Yeah, it's in my dot files. Yeah, let's go grab the ICQ sound. I also miss ICQ sometimes, Brad. That was like really, really early days of chat apps. Use iMenu or consult iMenu? Is it working there? Oh, you mean for looking at the functions? I'm too distracted right now to actually like think. So get the IBM keyboard with a solenoid so it moves when you type like a selectric. Yeah, there you go. What I wanted to do is, oh my god, anytime I press the button, selectric move, selectric type. I bet if I press enter, it's gonna go ding. And what is ping? We'll have to figure out what that is. I'm almost hesitant to play this because it's gonna deafen all of us, but let's see. Oh. Like, no. Okay, so play ping.wave. Alright, prepare yourselves. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So if I press enter in a buffer, does it work? No, I still get the same clicky sound. Please open up. All right, let's see. How much time do we have? Okay, we got some time. Let me go and grab that sound from Benoit's dot files because that should be pretty funny. Slash Benoit J slash dot files. Here we go. You can see I've already been to Benoit's dot files before. Yeah, I guess you could do that case. You could just drive yourself crazy without the use of this package. You said it was in private.irssi and notify.wave. Let's just download that file real quick. Oh, view raw. Maybe save. Here. Is it going to download it for me or is it just going to show me a bunch of binary? Great. Notify.wave. Cool. Finished. Let me go into the... Okay, so how does it pick which sound to play? Yo, enough. What's going on here? Yeah, dude. Too much, man. Selectric move sound. Type sound. Prog in. Selectric make sound. Format. Selectric type. Selectric files path. So it's looking for a specific thing. Yeah, I don't know if you can change it so easily. There's a download link on the right side of the GitHub page. I don't know, man. I don't pay attention. I'm just looking at, you know, whatever's right in front of my face. So, yeah, I'm confused. I swear to God, like, this thing clicking in my ear like that really just scrambled my brain right then. I cannot think anymore. It doesn't help that I just did a 2-hour live stream either. All right. I can override this function. Let's do that. And at the wrong time, it's going to scare the crap out of me again. Like right about now. So let's... current column. Oh, okay. So whenever you get to a particular column, that's when it does the ping sound. That's really annoying. Unless you're in a mini buffer. Okay, that's cool. Don't need prog in for that. Why are we using prog in here? The body of a function doesn't need a prog in. Don't mean to cast aspersions to the person who wrote this, but still, it's kind of a strange thing to do. Ah! Don't clip it. Don't clip it. All right, let's change this, and then I'm gonna delete this whole thing. Oh, that's nice. I like that sound a lot better. And file name. All right, so is that enough? There we go. How about this? Jesus Christ. Okay, so there you go. If you want to find a way to drive yourself even more crazy, then that's what you should do with your time. So I'm glad we figured that out. Now let me just turn this thing off. Oh, God. All right, now it's off. We're all okay. All right, let's all just take a deep breath and forget that ever happened. Now I will pass along the lovely configuration for you to try yourself in case you really want to make your weekend a lot of fun and maybe have to go to the therapist on Monday. So let me leave a link to Benoit's file for that. There we go. Whew, okay, now I have to let my my mind and body calm down. My 3-month-old enjoyed that sound. Yeah, I think that's the kind of sound that would definitely attract the child's attention. It would definitely attract my child's attention. And he says, if I want to, well, yeah, you probably don't. Alex says, anyone have this coming out of their corporate office monitor speakers? Well, probably not right now in COVID times, but I highly recommend at some point, if you're ever back into a co-working space or an open office plan, definitely turn your volume up to max and just type with this all day long and see how long it takes before they ask you very politely to leave and not come back. Okay. I think we did a good job with checking out packages today. I would say that most of them worked, and some of them were a little bit more stressful than others. But yeah, that was cool. Let me actually grab the selectric mode. Where was that? Now for HR to kick in the door. Well, that might happen. Oh yeah, I never found a link for that one. Did I not? Yeah. So, no link. Anyway, there's still obviously a lot more packages, so we'll probably do a third installment of this at some point, maybe a month from now, you know, leave some time in between, but that was great. Thanks all for joining and having a little bit of fun today, trying out more packages. I definitely think I'll make some videos on a few of these, like let's say Shackle, Popper, definitely Consult Deer, which we didn't show this time, because you know, they're all very useful in their own ways, except for selectric mode. I think that one can, you know, find it somewhere else to be. It's not going to be in my config. All right, so thanks all for being here today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. No other news. Next week, there's going to be an org roam video. And also, remember, there's going to be a stream on Sunday in case you want to drop by for that. I know it's sort of out of the normal schedule, but Jonathan is in New Zealand, so the time frame for him for this time of day does not really work because it's like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. So I think I have to, you know, help Jonathan out and stream at a time that's more convenient. So we're going to do that instead. And yeah, that's it. We'll be back with a video on Monday or Tuesday, and then more streams on Wednesday and Friday next week. So definitely check a look out for that. And yeah, until next time, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Check out the links in the below in the description to the show notes for this video. I'll try to update the timestamps, and also check out the links to support the channel, etc. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate the nice time we had today. And until next time, as always, happy hacking. We'll see ya.